Welcome to this explainer. Okay, picture this. You finally signed the closing papers, you've got the keys in your hand, and you are probably thinking the hard part is totally over. Well, today, we're going to uncover the hidden math of home ownership together. We are going to reveal why your beautiful new house, the exact one you worked so incredibly hard for, might actually be a wealth destruction machine in disguise. And yeah, it's a machine that standard mortgage calculators conveniently forgot to warn you about.
See, in America, we've been deeply conditioned to believe this very specific narrative, right? That buying the biggest, nicest house you can possibly afford is basically the absolute pinnacle of responsible financial behavior. It feels like this massive step forward. But because it feels so much like progress, it's often the ultimate wealth killer. If your bank account balance just keeps surprising you in the wrong direction month after month, it's highly likely your house is bleeding you dry through 1,000 tiny financial cuts that you barely even notice.
All right, Section 1, the home ownership wealth trap. The 50-50 revelation. Let's dive right in and look at the actual numbers that those online affordability calculators and lending officers somehow always manage to leave out of the conversation.
Check this out. Your mortgage payment, the principal and the interest, that typically only represents about 50 to 60% of your true property costs. Really think about that for a second. The other 40 to 50% of the money you are going to pour into your property is just completely hidden from your closing documents. It's like this entire parallel mortgage made up of phantom costs that literally never appear on a single sheet of paper when you sign for the loan.
And a huge part of this hidden cost, it comes from our absolute obsession with space. Since the 1950s, we have literally tripled the size of the average American home. Tripled! You'd think with 3 times the space we'd have plenty of room, right? Wrong. Despite tripling our home sizes, we still don't have enough room for our stuff. We're effectively financing mini warehouses for holiday decorations and treadmills we never use, which fuels a massive $40 billion storage industry. We're just constantly paying a premium for space we don't inhabit.
Moving on to Section 2, the hidden monthly bleed, direct financial drains. Let's break down the tangible cuts that are secretly pulling money right out of your bank account every single month.
First up, we've got property tax acceleration. Look, property taxes are the one cost that simply never stops growing. Most buyers only look at the tax bill on the day they actually buy the house. But in a lot of metro areas, those taxes grow by 3 to 5% every single year. So a totally standard $5,000 annual tax bill on a $500,000 home, that balloons into over $12,000 a year after 2 decades. The bigger the house, the larger that permanent expanding tax base you're chained to.
Then there's the maintenance time bomb. Every single component of a house has a ticking clock, right? The roof, the HVAC system, the water heater, the plumbing. Reality dictates you've got to budget 1 to 2% of your home's total value yearly just for upkeep. So if you're in a $500,000 home, up to $10,000 vanishes annually just to keep things exactly as they are. Bigger home? That means more roof to replace, more rooms to paint, and a much faster ticking clock.
And we absolutely can't forget the energy and utility drain. Utilities act as a permanent tax that compounds relentlessly with your square footage. Upgrading from a 1,500 square foot home to a 2,500 square foot home doesn't just mean a tiny little bump in your bill. It costs 40 to 60% more to heat and cool. Between the electricity, water, and gas, that extra space is putting a permanent chokehold on your monthly cash flow.
Plus, your insurance premiums scale directly with that square footage too. But beyond standard insurance, so many homeowners fall for the peace of mind trap, extended warranties. These are a pure profit trap for the companies selling them. Why? Because historically, only about 20% of these products ever actually need a repair during the coverage window. You are effectively just throwing money away instead of self-insuring with a basic emergency fund.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, the psychology of space, mental drains and unseen rent. Because it isn't just the physical brick and mortar draining your wallet, it is how the psychology of space actively forces you to spend more.
Researchers call this hedonic adaptation. Basically, when you move into a beautiful, upgraded home, your brain quickly gets used to that new baseline in about 3 months. The initial rush totally fades. But the higher mortgage and the bills, yeah, those are permanent. Worse, a new house creates what's called lifestyle anchoring. Suddenly, your old furniture looks totally out of place in that big new living room. Social pressure mounts, pushing you to permanently spend more on expensive landscaping, luxury cars, and high-end furniture just to match the vibe of the new rooms.
Because of all this, you end up paying what we call unseen rent for your stuff. Think of your home like a commercial storage facility. If your mortgage averages out to, say, $3 a square foot, an extra 100 square foot room that's just holding dusty boxes is actively charging you $300 a month in unseen rent. That stuff isn't just sitting there passively taking up space, it is actively charging you a monthly storage fee every single time your mortgage clears.
All right, Section 4, the ultimate opportunity cost, the biggest charge of all. We've talked about taxes, maintenance, utilities, psychology. Now let's look at the final, most devastating cost, the one that will absolutely never show up on any bank statement.
So what is this massive hidden charge? It's opportunity cost. Every single dollar you stretch to pay for a larger, more impressive house is a dollar that cannot be put to work for you. It is a dollar that cannot compound in a truly appreciating asset, like a broad market index fund.
Let's actually do the math on that stretch. Say you decide to push your budget, resulting in a $1,400 monthly difference between a modest, comfortable home and a massive, stretched home. If you had taken that $1,400 a month and invested it at an average 8% return for 25 years, you would have generated approximately $1.3 million. Wrap your head around that. That means your housing upgrade didn't just cost you the higher purchase price. That extra square footage literally cost you $1.3 million in lost retirement wealth.
Okay, Section 5, the Wealth Building Action Plan, reclaiming your budget. We are definitely not just going to leave you with the bad news here. Let's look at the exact steps you can take today to stop the bleeding and shift the math firmly back in your favor. First up, if you are in the market to buy, you've got to fundamentally change how you view affordability. Calculate your housing budget at exactly 60 to 70% of what the bank says you can afford. Why? Well, because the bank's calculator is designed to figure out your maximum financial survival, the absolute edge of what you can pay without defaulting. You don't want to just survive, right? You need to calculate what leaves actual breathing room for building your wealth and making investments.
Now, if you already own a home, it might be time to conduct a slightly ruthless but deeply necessary stuff audit. Go through your house and honestly ask yourself if you are truly willing to pay the ongoing space cost, the maintenance cost, and the time cost for all those objects. Often, the absolute most profitable wealth-building action you can take is to declutter, downsize your storage needs, and simply stop paying unseen rent to your possessions.
Ultimately, building wealth is not about how much top-line income you earn, it is entirely about what you keep. If you recognized your own situation in these hidden costs today, it means the fog is finally lifting. So I'll leave you with this. Are you going to keep sleepwalking through your finances, paying for space you don't use and impressing people you don't even know? Or are you finally ready to stop performing wealth and actually start building it?